All right, today we're going to talk about and take a look at some of the most vulnerable locations or counties across the U.S. that are, I guess you could say, are susceptible to housing market downturns and things going off the rails and bad, etc. So welcome to Housing Bubble 2.0 News of the Week, or as I like to call it, another episode of As the Housing Market Turns. Randy here, putting the wheels back in real estate. Today is the 11th of December. Year's almost over. Hopefully you guys are doing well and you're getting some last minute real estate done by end of the year. We're trying to do the same as well too. So this is the scoop. Adam Data Solutions released this the other day. And basically it really is, and we've talked about this before on the channel here, housing markets facing greater risk of downturns, and downturn meaning price reduction, problems, drops, the whole bit, right? So they typically are clustered in certain locations, California, New Jersey, and Illinois. There's reasons for that, and we'll get into it. So every so often they'll do, whether it's every 2 months or every quarter, they're going to do, Adam's going to do this type of, report, etc. And essentially what they're finding that is California, New Jersey, Illinois have the highest concentrations of markets that are most at risk, okay? So risk of a downturn. Clusters in the New York and Chicago areas, Central California. Less vulnerable markets spread throughout South, Midwest, and Northeast. So the better markets, or the ones that maybe aren't looking at a major downturn, are in these other locations. So again, they're looking at about 50 counties. Essentially, I just mentioned where the risk is concentrated. Some parts of the country continue to pop up on the radar as places to watch for housing market drop-offs based on key quarterly measures. It's important to stress that getting onto the most vulnerable list doesn't signal an imminent crash in the local market. It just means they have a greater potential tripwires that could lead to a decline. Yes, they could, and that's why we'll talk about those in a second here. So that's sort of, the premise of today's discussion. How they came up with this, most vulnerable locations. They were more or less at risk based on the percentage of homes facing foreclosure, the portion with mortgage balances exceeded estimated property values, which means you're underwater. You owe more than what your house is actually worth. The percentage of average local wages required to pay for major home ownership expenses on medium-priced family homes, and local unemployment rates. So, and that's part of the thing too, because a lot of the discussion on people in foreclosure is like, oh, you've got equity, so why don't you just sell and cash out and move on? Well, this whole major home ownership expenses, local unemployment rates, factors into that very highly, all right? And my point has always been the fact that, if you're facing foreclosure, you have a cash flow problem. You can't pay your mortgage. It's not an equity problem. But the problem is, if you don't have the cash flow, then you're not spending the money to upgrade or to put your home in a position where you've got maximum curb appeal, where you can actually sell and sort of get at that equity rich opportunity if it's there. So that's again something to think about. So anyway, conclusions were drawn from the recent home affordability, equity, and foreclosure reports prepared by Adam. Of course, unemployment rates came from the government, so Bureau of Labor and Statistics. So here we go. The most vulnerable counties are a bunch in Chicago, New York metros, plus parts of California. So basically, 50 at most risk counties include 3 in New York City, Kings and Richmond counties, which cover Brooklyn, Staten Island, and Bronx County. 6 in the New York City suburbs, Bergen, Essex, Ocean, Passaic, Sussex, and Union counties, which are all in New Jersey. 7 in the Chicago metropolitan area, Cook, DeKalb, Kane, Lake, McHenry, and Will counties, and then Lake County in Indiana, which I think is that southwestern part of Illinois, but right across there from right in Indiana. The 5 in Central California were Fresno County, Madera County, which is outside Fresno, Merced County outside Fresno, San Joaquin County, Stockton area, and Stanislaus County, the Modesto area. So, and this is not surprising because we seem to see these same counties over and over again when they talk about the issues with respect to the most vulnerable or at-risk locations. So this should not come as any surprise to anybody, all right? So the other people, other locations, the top list, you've got Northern California, Southern California, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. There was, looks like, either Butte or Butte County outside Sacramento, El Dorado County outside Sacramento, Humboldt County, which is Eureka in Northern California, Kern County, Bakersville, Riverside and San Bernardino County in Southern California. Those two counties have always been, one of the leaders of the most concentration of foreclosures in California. Those in Philadelphia were Philadelphia County, Gloucester, New Jersey, and Camden County, New Jersey. So basically, almost the entire state of New Jersey. And New Jersey has always had one of the highest, if not the highest, foreclosure rates per capita. So again, as I mentioned, all these locations, no surprise here as far as I'm concerned. All right. Now, counties at most risk of downfalls, again, have higher levels of underwater mortgages, foreclosures, and unemployment, of course. So at least 5% of the residential mortgages were underwater in the third quarter of 2023. All right. Nationwide, 5.2% of mortgages fell into that category, with homeowners owing more on their mortgage than the estimated value of their properties. Now, interesting that they actually said this. So 5.2% of mortgages fell into that category. So in other words, homeowners own more on their mortgage than estimated value of the properties. Adam Data Solutions will put out periodically, usually it's on a quarterly basis. They'll talk about equity and lack of equity are being seriously underwater. So the seriously underwater as a percent is less than the 5.2%, which is underwater. So, i.e., you owe $500,000, but your home is worth $499,000. Guess what? You're underwater. So whether it's $1, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, $500,000 underwater, you're still there. Okay. If we take a look at these locations, Webb County, Texas, 56% underwater. I'm not even going to try this next one. It looks like Tangipahoa Parish in Louisiana, which is east of Baton Rouge, Philadelphia County, St. Clair in Pennsylvania, St. Clair County, Illinois, which is outside St. Louis, Peoria County, Illinois, 14.3%. So, these locations that are underwater, like, 56% underwater, that's pretty big time in Webb County in Laredo, Texas, right? So that would mean a higher opportunity for foreclosures. Obviously, Baton Rouge, we're looking at 24% area, Philadelphia, 17.4%, St. Clair County, 15.3%, Peoria, 14.3%. Pretty significant to be underwater in mortgages, especially now when we had a couple years of record home price appreciation. So that tells me that there's problems that go beyond just housing pricing in those locations. Highest foreclosure rates, okay, Cumberland County, which is New Jersey, Warren County, New Jersey, Allentown, which is outside of Allentown, Sussex County, New Jersey, Gloucester County, New Jersey, outside Philadelphia, and Camden County, New Jersey. So as I mentioned a few seconds ago, New Jersey has the highest rate. I mean, listen, they all ebb and flow, the typical counties and locations, states on a monthly basis, depends on filings and some seasonality. But clearly, New Jersey over the past number of years historically has been right up there, if not the number one. Locations that had at least 5% unemployment, based on the statistic they're using from August 2023, was Merced County, California, Kern County, which is Bakersfield area, Cumberland County, New Jersey, obviously Bronx County, New York, and Madera County, California. So that kind of rounds out where things are at. So, when you take a look at the opportunity, well, there's two sides to this. Number one, people are in a situation where they've got problems, they're at risk. What are they going to do? Are they going to sell to cash out and move on and do something else, rent or go someplace else? It's up to them. The longer they wait in these at-risk locations, the worse it's going to get for them, which means they're going to have less equity, if they even have any, and they're going to have less opportunity and less time. So when people are in these situations, I always stress, don't wait it out and see what's going to happen, because listen, the market's not going up any higher. All right, we're seeing a stable market in many locations. We've seen the down market in other locations. The market's not just going to jump up out of the blue. All these people who are underwater or are facing, a lot of debt on their properties, they're not going to recover. So it's one of those things where you're biding time, and eventually you're going to lose your home, or you're going to have to sell at a discount. Simple as that. All right. So this is what we got going on here in the markets across the country. It's good to know that things aren't always rosy or honky-dory across the board. Simple as that. So just, keep that in mind as you, depending on where you are, location across the country. So folks, if you like and appreciate the information that I provide, if you could hit that subscribe button, I would thank you very much. That would be great. And if you are a current subscriber, I think you are, if you could resubscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications, because I'm always losing subscribers. I seem to be maintaining this plateau. I put people on and people come off for other reasons. We don't know what's going on, or we really do, but we don't really talk about it here, obviously, right? So you know the scene, guys. So that's the scoop. So going a little farther in here, after they did that report, so what they're not doing anymore, Atom Data Solutions, they used to put a lot more information on their websites and talk about these things. Clearly they're not. They're just doing the high-level highlights, and I guess they want you to buy the report. Well, I'm not buying the report. I'm just picking off what's on the internet, right? So we'll talk about these top 10 most vulnerable housing markets, which is kind of interesting. All right. If you go take a look at it, as I said, it pretty much represents a little bit of a look across the board here. You've got some California representation, some Texas, primarily New Jersey, and looks like one in Delaware. So you got Madera, California. So this one, and this, again, some illustration of the situations here. So top 10 most vulnerable U.S. housing markets, percent of income needed to buy in Q3 2023. So the percent of income you're going to have to buy on based on the averages, like, median income and how much of your income is going to be used, for a median home price. Well, look at this. You've got, basically 50% for Madera, California. You're going to have Kaufman, Texas, just under. Looks like Essex, New Jersey, San Bernardino, over 50%. It looks like Butte, California up there as well too. Passaic, New Jersey leads with 60 plus. Then you got Sussex, Atlantic, Warren. Okay, so basically you've got pretty much 40% and up for income is needed. Your typical mortgage, when you do your mortgage analysis on what you can afford, they're usually looking at 36, 38, maybe 40%, of your income going to your housing costs. So you can see that these locations are 10, 15, 20% greater than sort of the average. So problematic for sure in these locations. And again, this is the reason why they're the top 10, because they're all going to sort of have some of the same issues. Top 10 most vulnerable U.S. housing markets, percent with underwater mortgages. So Madera, California, Kaufman, Texas, Essex, New Jersey, San Bernardino, Butte, California, Passaic, New Jersey, Sussex, New Jersey, Atlantic, Warren, New Jersey, and Kent, Delaware. So this is what we got going on. So these areas are up in there, and that's how they're ranking with, again, percent underwater mortgages, not looking too good for these locations. So again, what does that mean for you? If you live there, could you purchase there? Could you purchase as a short sale? Is there a lot of distress going on? Yes, that really is an indication of distress right here. This chart, top 10 most vulnerable U.S. housing markets, percent of properties with foreclosure filings, well, same thing. Madera, Kaufman, Essex, San Bernardino, Butte, Passaic, Sussex, Atlantic, Warren, and Kent. So again, they're up there. Okay, they've got a pretty robust properties with foreclosure filings in the third quarter, and it's increased. And that's the one thing I want to mention, because nobody really talks about this, and they talk about this in high levels, and they compare to the pre-pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you know what? During the pandemic, we had the foreclosure and eviction moratorium, which sort of halted all that activity. So some people did get a free pass, which is good. They got to stay in their houses longer, maybe have more opportunities to do workout programs or do some loan modifications with their lender, but all that's kind of gone now. And it's going to be catching up, and we are seeing that happening in the marketplace right now. We're busy, and we're going to go after a lot of that type of market. This last slide here, top 10 most vulnerable U.S. housing markets, August 2023 unemployment rate. Well, you can take a look at. I don't even know what the national average is, but you can take a look at when you're getting 5 and over 6, 7%. That's more than the national average, I believe. So you're adding all these things up. How much of your income is required? What's the unemployment rate? What's the cost to rehab and stuff like that? I mean, what's the foreclosure filings like? What's going on there? The activity, and that's all going to come together in their calculations to say, hey, certain locations are at bigger risk of downturns, right? Downturn, as I said, means more foreclosures coming, which means those are cheaper price REO properties or short sale properties hitting the marketplace or being put back on the marketplace. You've got distress. So if whether real estate agents or investors are going to go after those properties, I guess we'll see what happens, but that's your opportunity. Okay, like I talk about this all the time. Buying retail just doesn't make sense anymore, right? With the amount of pricing that still hasn't. Well, and again, a lot of locations have not dropped prices yet. Certain locations, West Coast, higher end locations, are dropping price because they need to, and their markets are dictating that, but other locations are still standing kind of firm or having modest decreases, but not nothing that we're expecting, like 20 to 30% some of these locations, though some West Coast places are already hitting double digits for sure. But my point is, this is what's going on. This is kind of a generic, broad look at the nation. If you start drilling down to certain locations like California, like Texas, like New York, like New Jersey, like Pennsylvania, like Las Vegas, okay, like Phoenix, like the majority of Florida, like Georgia, like South Carolina, like Illinois. I mean, we could keep going, like Ohio. I mean, we can keep going on. The amount of foreclosures are picking up big time. Locations that are faring well are the North and South Dakotas, Montana's, Wyoming, where you're not having the huge population base up there anyway, and on the housing activity. Places like Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, which traditionally, doesn't have that type of environment going on. So, so those are stronger markets for sure. We're seeing changes, and they don't talk about them, but they're coming. Trust me, they're coming. We're seeing them here, working them here. That's what I talk about. I mean, what else can I really talk about, right? We can just say the same thing. Housing bubble, it's bubbled. Has it popped? No. Why? Because our market's manipulated and it's being controlled. What are we going to do? We're going to wait around for it. So go after these things now. That's the best opportunity, all right? So as I say, many opportunities, multiple niches. No one's focusing on them. Will it be like the last crash? Probably not, but it's going to be different, but still the great opportunity. So what are you waiting for? Don't miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity or your second chance at it, all right? So I do this slide all the time, and I'm going to really get into talking about this going forward here, all right? I'm looking for more investor buyers, cash buyers who need single-family homes, okay? Not, hey, find me a good deal, Randy. More, you want to actually do this business and get involved and make some money or acquire wealth or rental properties, whatever, then let's have a discussion and show me what, and, give me the confidence if I find stuff, I can show it to you. Too many people have connected with me saying, oh, when you get a good deal, call me. When I do call you, guess what? You're not ready. You got issues, family stuff going on, whatever. You're not ready to pull the trigger. To me, that's not a serious buyer. I want someone who really wants to move forward. Whether you're onesie, twosie, or you're a large investor buyer, we know what we're doing down here, okay? Looking for private funding partners for single-family residential home purchase and projects. Got lots of those on the go, have more in the pipeline, want to do a lot more. Recruit real estate agents, okay, in the Tampa, Florida area to start, then expanding outwards, right? There's so many leads that we can't even handle right now. So that's the opportunity. More joint venture partners, so investors who have deals or have distressed property, don't know what to do, don't know how to exit them, don't know how to package them up, or don't know what to get out of them. Bring them to me. We can take a look at it and see if we can help. So bring your distressed deals to the table, all right? That's what I'm saying here. So I'm not going to go into this right now because I'm going to start doing specific videos on these things here, but essentially 10 ways to earn income and build wealth during the housing correction and housing crash. The key is to get ahead of the game. Get ahead of the hedge funds, get ahead of the big investors, get ahead of the masses before they start going, yeah, I need to start looking at this, and the market changes again, all right? So as I mentioned, I have 10, but I added novation/retail buying. I forgot code violations, all right? Talking to my attorney, he's got a whole list of, did some data analysis. He's got 200 plus code violation leads that we're gonna start calling on next week. All right, so it's things like that there's so much. As I said, there's so many of these sub niches to get involved with this market. It's unreal, and nobody or hardly anybody's doing this. Okay, I really mean that. All right, so the whole point is reach out to me. Talk about this. I'll get you set up on how you can figure this stuff out. So once again, everybody, I thank you for the views, the likes, and the comments. Please share the video with your family and friends. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I look forward to speaking with you in a couple of days. Bye-bye.